If you're sick of bullshit TV that's always showing our people in a negative light, if you're looking for information that's simple and entertaining instead of boring, check out Business Bully TV. Business Bully TV has amazing programming, from celebrity interviews, documentaries, and movie reviews. You can watch exclusive programming that you can't get anywhere else from today's power players. Business Bully TV is available for free on Amazon Fire TV, Roku, and streaming 24/7 and on demand at businessbully.tv. Once again, this is David Banner from the David Banner Podcast.
Are you tired of hand sanitizer that makes your hands feel sticky and creates buildup? Germaway is what you need. Germaway is a spray sanitizer that has 70% alcohol and is infused with moisturizers and vitamin E. This decreases bacteria on skin and surfaces that could cause disease, not only on your hands, but on your door handles, your steering wheel, and more. Hurry over to www.tishsutton.com and purchase it now before it sells out. Again, that's tishsutton.com. TISHSUTTON.com.
David Banner.
Hello, my name is Regina Davenport from the David Banner Podcast, and this is Tommy's Corner. Learned a lot over these last few years. Industry people ain't friends, just peers. I learned that these boys easy like the morning of a Sunday. They don't want you till you're gone like Harambe. Still killing over colors, now it's black and blue. We dying every day, beat, we just don't make the news. When you speak up for your race, just watch. They gon' twist and say you hate these cops. I'ma take these shots. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, known as the Yay. Hudson Avenue in the Bay, Bayview, Hunters Point, Fillmore, where the whole stroll that Lee like.
Yeah! Praise the Lord.
Let me tell you, oh Regina, she knows all about clothes. Oh Regina, oh, she's gonna tell you all about fashion, yeah. Regina, she knows, baby. Let me tell you about Miss Regina. She knows, yeah, she knows, baby. Miss Regina, she knows, yeah, she knows, baby.
Do you feel the pressure of being a role model for the young Black girls who watch the podcast?
I don't, because to me, I'm not out there enough to feel the pressure. And I'm just really being who I am. And that is, I don't know what that is, but some kind of role model.
What are some of your aspirations after the David Banner Podcast, now that you are in the spotlight?
After the David Banner Podcast, can I write off my aspiration? Can I ride off into the sunset like you?
No.
So after the David Banner Podcast, I would like to continue film and television, doing voiceovers, and I have a project that I'm passionate about that you gave me a great idea for that I would like to pursue. Well, that actually should be really going by then. So I'm excited about that, just to continue to grow and be an example.
Do you ever feel like telling your auntie, I told you so?
Ooh, do I ever feel like telling my auntie I told you so? My auntie said that when I left California, her encouraging words to me were, oh, you'll be back. And that was actually the fuel to keep me going. So do I ever feel like telling her I told you so? No, because I don't think it's worth the time and the energy to invest. Just, keep moving so she can keep seeing that she was wrong.
Your personal episode on the podcast when you spoke on your son's incarceration was one of the most powerful shows to date. How did doing that show affect you personally, and was it a weight off of your back?
When we did the David Banner podcast, and we talked about my son that's incarcerated, it was hard to get through, but once it was over, it definitely felt like a weight had been lifted. And then to see comments of other people, and women mostly, encouraging me and saying that it really touched them and helped them on their journey was inspiring. It made it feel like it was all worth it. So I'm learning that to be a little more transparent, which isn't my normal MO.
Can you explain the dynamic of having such a close proximity relationship with David Banner without having any romantic ties?
So what I say is that I love the fact that working with David Banner, that we are so close, like brother and sister. There's nothing that impedes on that relationship. And there are people who don't believe that. But what I've learned in life is those are the people who doubt it and judge it are those people who don't have self-control and can't control themselves. So I say it is definitely doable. It is in more than one of my relationships with the men that I work with. And I love them so much, I don't look at them in that light. And I think that's vice versa. We have that much respect for each other, and I'm grateful for David Banner. And my relationship with the KP the same. I love you both so much.
You've been blessed to work with several huge executives and artists during the course of your career. Is there 2 to 3 that stand out, and why?
Yes, I've been really blessed to work with a few executives. There are a few that stand out. I would like to say David Banner. Just because watching him and how he moves and how diligent he is, and to some extent tyranny in a good way about having his own stuff, has encouraged me that it's something that I can do and we can do on our own. We can have our own businesses. We can be entrepreneurs. We can be successful, and we can steady plod as opposed to trying to shoot to the top immediately. So I enjoy that. Also, working with KP, who's an executive. David Banner was the artist, the executive. It's KP. KP believed in me working at LaFace years ago. He took a chance for me to work with him, and the gamble paid off because we had and still do have a great relationship. We worked together for a few decades. He has been nothing but respectful and a great teacher and role model in this industry for me. I constantly learn from him. When he interviews, I tell him, and Banner and David Banner this too, every time they do an interview, no matter how long that I've known them, I learn something new. And to me, I think that's just amazing. And it's a testament of the depth of their character and who they are. Two very great men.
How do you feel about being such an integral part of Atlanta's history?
I don't think I ever really thought of it in the terms of me being a part of it because I was just so engulfed in working in it. But lately, just sitting back and watching music, the industry and what's going on in the world, and seeing how a lot of music now is, people are kind of playing more of the older classic music and just hearing it and thinking like, wow, I played a part in that, and it's an amazing thing. One thing it's so funny is I tell my friends or whomever I'm with, no matter where I go, I don't care what city, what state, the grocery store, the Department of Motor Vehicles, it does not matter. I always hear a song that I worked on in some manner from an artist. And I think that it used to be like, oh man, I can't escape work. But now it's like, that is really amazing to be able to have that as a blessing.
Over the years, you've been so much to so many. How do you find time for yourself?
How do I find time for myself? To be honest, I don't find time for myself. I get so engulfed in what I'm doing that I am so far on the back burner that you can't even see the burner. So I'm trying to figure out the balance in doing it and trying to do more for me, or at least taking a small piece of the pie for myself. And, it's not easy because I'm so used to being like a nurturer or helping and giving that I do it like naturally. Well, one of the ways that I find time for myself, and actually I didn't find this time for myself, David Banner did. We went on a company retreat back in December, pre-COVID. And I realized while we were out there, we were in the mountains, how much I needed that trip to just like to release and to relax, because I'm so busy helping everyone that I don't really take time for myself. So it was eye-opening for me, and it was a reset because I was able to say, hey, slow down, take some time. And then it actually helped me to reset and take things like slowly from the beginning as opposed to constantly running, full speed ahead.
How in the world do you deal with all the testosterone on the David Banner podcast, being the only female on the show?
How does it feel to deal with all the testosterone on this show? Man, let me say, not easy. It's not easy. But I think in my life, there's so many alpha males that I've learned to navigate, you know what I'm saying? And cut my way through. Like growing up for me as a kid, there was a lot of, like what they would say, joning, getting on people, whatever. So that also helped in building the character. I didn't let it out at first because I tried to stay professional, but I'm learning that I have to hear my voice, that I have to speak up and like let go like I would if I was out, in the streets. So, you know what I'm saying? But definitely when I go home after all this testosterone, yeah, hot bubble bath.
In your long tenure in the music business, what has been the most uncomfortable you've ever been?
I would say the most uncomfortable and upset that I've been is I worked for a company before and they laid us all off, right? It's like, we got to let you guys off. Money's not coming in. But then the owner went to a magazine and said he fired us all. I was so pissed off. But it let me know that I think that was at the point where I started saying that I can't give so much of myself to people who don't deserve it.
What accomplishments in the past that you're attached to that you're very proud of?
I'm going to start professionally first and say there are two artists, and I'm sorry, I have to keep bringing this guy up because it's the truth. Like seeing David Banner early on, before he got on, and then to see him get on, to blow up, to transform into this amazing human being that like stands up for our people unapologetically is it isn't my accomplishment, but it's one of the things I'm really proud of. And there is another young lady who I worked with early on named Janelle Monáe. And to see her and where she is now is amazing for me. So those two, I would say, are my the things I'm most proud of in my career.
Can you explain David Banner and how they've grown and changed since your initial encounters?
Well, David Banner was a little rough around the edges, but you know what? Even though you were at a different place, or he was at a different place in his life at that time, to me, he is still the same person now as he was then. Like, he's transformed or transitioned in what he was doing, but his heart is still the same heart. So, he had the guns and the band, and yeah, he was. And when we signed Janelle Monáe at that time, she
actually was singing background. She was already in Wonderland, but she was singing background for one of the artists that was signed to Purple Ribbon. But you know, she's always been who she is now, even in her expression as an artist and how she dresses. She's kind of always been that person. And you could see both of their lights very early on.